This is part two of a three-part interview with author Lorraine Evanoff. In this segment, we're going to talk about her current novel, the second novel of her Louise Moscow series, Pinot Noir. So, Lorraine, in Foliage, Louise established herself as a woman of action, and yet you take several years away from her as she opens Pinot Noir in witness protection. How do you think this changed her and prepared her for the situation she encountered in the novel?
Actually, it was left her kind of unprepared for it, but she had been kind of isolated for so many years in this protection situation and had been out of fear of boredom training herself in so many ways, physically, mentally, learning languages, that in fact, and then she had been so kind of isolated, maybe getting out there was really gave her a lot more energy. She was kind of ready to go, more than she would have been. So, and she had survived that long as well. So she had, I think, a lot of good strength within her for, to go on to the next survival situation.
Louise is also a bit older and wiser in Pinot Noir and less impulsive. What was behind your creative decision to make her more chaste and less dependent on the trappings of love?
She's not like entirely chaste in the she's chaste, but she's not completely chaste. But she, I think it happened previously. The initial love in the previous book is what really calmed her down and made her realize that, yes, having romances and free love or whatever, not being hung up about sex, really got tamed with that true love. She realized that true love really stops that need to be kind of attention, or whatever the word is, to feel maybe lack, so you don't need to fill that void as much once you've felt that true love, and you don't want to settle anymore. I think, in my experience, you don't want to settle for not real love after that. So I just think it was part of her growth.
Louise characteristically has a natural instinct for fine wine, thus the title, and the highest levels of fine cuisine. How does that instinct come together with her investigative skills? I've always been fascinated by that.
Yeah. If you're very curious by nature and enjoy the finer things in life, and even just nature itself, if you love a beautiful beach and a beautiful ocean, or animals in the wild, or trees, then you're going to also love drinking and eating delicious food, drinking delicious wine. And that all is part of life experience. So you're going to also want to investigate other things and make connections. That's just the way I am. I'm obsessed with making connections. And I think that's how this all came about, where I had to, figure out the meaning of life, literally. I've been trying to figure out if God is real since I was a kid, and things like that. And then making these connections of all these banking things that I know are connected. And the more I research now, this next book, I really am just amazed by the connections.
Pinot Noir is set less than 6 months after September 11, 2001. Since we're going through another worldwide transition right now, how do you think events like 9/11 and the pandemic change our psyches and change how you allow Louise to reflect upon it?
Well, these are wake-up calls. We are all kind of lulled into this false sense of security, or just our routines, or our social media, and really, even the U.S. government, we took it for granted, and now we're learning more than we ever have of how it works, and it's just amazing. We learned a lot at 9/11, and now we're just like beyond learning what we ever could have imagined we would needed to learn. So that is the big part of this pandemic. Has made us really rethink our entire lives, including climate change and the wastefulness that we've been doing. And in a lot of ways, it's going to be a blessing.
Mhm. And how do you think Louise reflected on 9/11 through how she was investigating the current case she
Oh,
was working
yeah.
on?
That was, it was shocking for her, and to have been so far away from her hometown where it happened. Uh, it was, again, a wake-up call and just an urgency for her. I think it was clear, and it just kind of was soul-crushing.
Mhm.
And just part of her intrigue. I think she's just a really soulful person.
Finally, as you prepare for book 3 in Louise's story, what did you find out about her in Pinot Noir that you want to explore further as you think about her in her next adventure?
One thing about Louise from those two first adventures was that she's not satisfied with the resolution of those cases. And so it's been bothering her, but she's going back to her, what she knows, which is kind of work on herself and work on her life, quality of life, because that's the foundation of everything. You want to have a good foundation for your life before you can do more and have ambitions or solve problems. So but she's building up to it now. There are so many unanswered questions for her. She's strengthened her resolve, and she's doing more training and all of that. And then she's getting ready kind of to get back out there and scratch that itch.